Hi everyone, my name is Marcin and it's a huge pleasure to say welcome in another Photoshop tutorial. As I promised, this time it's not quick tip tutorial, but actually it's retouch tutorial, and I'm going to teach you how to make portrait of a little child even cuter than they actually are. As you can see on the picture at the moment, I'm going to teach you how to make eyes bigger, how to retouch the skin, how to add some contrast, how to change the background for really nice and suitable background for child portrait retouch. And all of this you can learn in this tutorial. So to not talk too much, just let's start. That was the picture I started with. As you see, it's really nice, but without contrast, without really colors. The colors are really washed. Background, it's not really good, and that's how I finished. Of course, it's not so natural. But the thing is, it's not about this. That's tutorial how to make little child portrait really cute, really awesome, and I think this portrait looks really awesome. So let's start from the beginning. That's the picture I started with, actually, but actually I'm going to show you another thing. Let's start with this, because on this picture I'm going to show you how to remove background at first. Of course, many of you probably has this problem. It's hard to find a picture without background, so I'm going to show you how to remove the background as much as we can on this picture. It's not always easy, but we will try. I will try my best. That's our basic image. I will duplicate this layer, and at first I'm just going to do selection on this portrait. I'm going to use quick selection tool. Why? Because it's very quick to do this, and actually I will try to do as good as I can, but of course it's a tutorial, so the thing is I don't want it to take too long. I don't want to make you bored with this tutorial. Okay. It's not perfect, but it really doesn't matter. And now click refine edge, add smooth quite much actually, feather quite much as well. The same about contrast. The thing is we have to do really smooth edges, and then okay, and just cut this image. Okay, now we can unclick these two layers and delete this layer. Now let's try to remove these parts of the image. And again, refine edges, a lot of smooth feather, and okay, and just layer via cut. Okay, it's not bad. It doesn't have to be perfect with this effect, and why you will see later, because of our background it's quite suitable, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to remove these white parts a little bit here, but not much, and I don't really want to, it's not necessary to use layer mask, because it just quick thing, as I said, doesn't have to be really perfect, just a little bit to make it a little bit more clean. Okay, I think it's enough. So that's how we removed our background. And now I would like to retouch a few things. As you can see, it's a child, so we don't have to change many things. We don't have to retouch skin, of course, as the skin is very young, bright, soft, so there's no single reason to retouch the skin. Only one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to whiten this teeth just a little bit. Quick selection tool isn't really the best tool to retouch teeth, but it's quick. Okay, duplicate this layer and call this teeth. We can use hue saturation, or even better, vibrance. Take it down a little bit. Vibrance maybe to -25. And okay. And I'm going to clean these areas over here because it was a little bit too much. It's still much more quicker than using pen tool, which would be actually maybe better, but as I said, it takes a while and I want to save as much time as I can. Okay, our teeth are really nice, white, looks much better. And the second part I'm going to do is retouching eyes a little bit. I'm going to create clipping mask into this, and above this to create a stamp which I'm going to call eyes. But on one thing I'm going to do with eyes at the moment, it's making them a little bit bigger. So let's make a selection around the eyes, around that, above eyebrows and around all eye area. Then click right, make selection, feather radius around 5 pixels to make really soft edges. Then select selection tool, click right and free transform. And it's really hard to do this right, but we can try. Click at one corner, grab one corner and drag it a little bit. As me, I count 2 little moves now, and a little bit here, and I'm going to do the same with second eye. Click apply and select. As you can see now, that eye is much bigger now, so time to do the same with second eye. Select that area around the eye, above eyebrow and around the eye. Click right, make selection again, feather radius at 5, click selection tool, click right and free transform, and the same as before. 1, 2, and down here 1, 2. I think it's enough. Here, apply and deselect. Now let's see the size of the eyes. I think it's pretty much the same. As you see, the right eye was a little bit smaller than the left eye, so all the proportions are still the same. So I think I did this really right. Okay, but the little thing we have to do now, around the eyes it might look not really natural, so we have to fix this. Add layer mask, select brush, set the size of your brush, select color black, just paint a little bit around the eye in the area you selected before to make really soft edges. The same here. And okay, we are done, pretty much done with our eyes now. So I think we can start to preparing our effect. So now is our next step, and in this moment I recommend you to save this project to not lose anything. And okay, after you save this image, we're going to do something really nice. Click image mode and select lap color. Changing modes will discard an adjustment layer. Change mode anyway. Okay, let's change mode. It's not a big deal actually. And then press Alt, Control, Shift and E, and Alt, Command, Shift and E if you're working on Mac. I'm going to call this channels, as I'm going to work on channels as well as you, I guess. And then click channels and then lightness. I'm going to zoom this a bit, and basically we're going to use Dodge and Burn tool now on this image. At first I'm going to use Burn tool. As you can see, we're going to work on lightness. So using Burn tool, we're going to take some lightness from this image. Using Dodge tool, we're going to of course add some lightness. I'm going to use Burn tool on her eyebrows. I forgot to say about range. I should change this. Range in this case will be shadows. I'm sorry for that. And exposure on 30%. Midtones in this case would be way too strong, so I'm not recommending at all. All the eye area around, trust me, it will look really, really nice and beautiful. So, okay, so you see eyelashes look really awesome because of this. I like this effect a lot. So now add some Burn tool in other places. On her hair a little bit in the black areas, but as I said, you have to be really careful with Touch and Burn tool in this case, because if you won't be, your effect will be really horrible. It's easy to destroy this this picture using this effect actually. So don't remember to change range to shadows, because the effect won't be really good if you want to do this. Now let's change into Dutch tool, and for Dutch I'm going to use range highlights, exposure just 10%. First I'm going to use a little bit on her teeth, inside her eyes, I mean on her eyes, just a little bit, and I'm going to paint this with lightness a little bit on her front head to make this face really nice and bright. Change exposure into 20% and then add some highlights on her shiny hair, or rather make the hair really nice and shiny. You won't be disappointed. Okay, as I really don't want to add too much of Dutch and Bend tool, click image again, mode and RGB color, and changing modes can affect the appearance of layers. Merge layers before the mode change. And we have two options. I'm going to choose don't merge. I think it's not any difference, of course. And as you see, our portrait look really awesome now, but we are not done yet, because I'm going to add some more really nice effects. After we finished our work with channels, create a stamp. Press Alt, Ctrl, Shift and E. If you're working on Mac, of course, Alt, Command, Shift and E. Just going to call this stamp for now, and I'm going to change visibility on the previous layers. You can go back, or anyway, I'm going to add solid color now, and add blue color as our background. And now we can see our edges are not really great, but the thing is, it's not a problem at all. We're just going to click add layer mask, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and you will see why. So just clean the edges a little bit around the girl. You don't have to do this inside. Be really careful. Just this white color. Of course, as it's easy to see, we don't have opportunity to change anything back from now, and of course we couldn't do this after we were working on channels. So that's like channels is some kind of new step. It's really good to save the work before, as I said. If you would change our mind, there is less to lose later. It's not bad now. I wouldn't be worried about the other parts here, and you will see why soon. Let's clean here a little bit more. Wouldn't be worried about that area inside. I think it's enough. If you think you would like to clean a little bit more, of course you can do this. Maybe just a little bit here. The area close to the face doesn't have to be clean because we're going to add some white color. So okay, as we made this blue background, now create new layer. I'm going to call this layer brush. Select set the size more than 2000 pixels if you have the same size of the image, of course, and just click on the middle behind that girl a few times, a bit down here, just like me, to have this really nice shiny color. Okay, I think it looks nice, and now we cannot see the edges. Okay, next step I'm going to do press Alt, Control, Shift and E again. Make this image a little bit more sharpened. I'm going to click Filter, Order, and in this case High Pass. Okay, and now we have to change blending mode from normal to soft light. I think would be okay. I'm going to change opacity a little bit, but you don't have to do this because I'm going to use one plugin, and it's up to you if you're going to use this plugin. If not, you don't have to change opacity. Of course, you can add some sharpen by clicking Filter, Sharpen, and select Smart Sharpen, for example. Now I'd like to add Dodge and Burn tool. Create new layer. I'm going to call this Dodge. burn tool, click edit and fill this layer with 50% gray, and then change blend mode to overlay to make this gray color invisible. So again, we're going to work with dodge and burn tool, but of course now not so much. I would like to work with eyes a little bit and eyebrows. So start with burn tool. I'm going to add some burn tool once again on the eyebrows and once again on the area around her eyes, just a little bit. Now change to dodge tool. I will change highlight to 10% and add some the front head again here, and of course on her hair, but now I'm going to change exposure to 20% and add some highlights on her to make them a little bit more shiny. Okay, and now I'm going to increase the eyes a little bit. Let's see, I like to keep this eye color. I think it's quite nice. I don't want to make it too bluish. So I think this eye color is really nice, so I won't change this because I really like this eye color. Beautiful soft blue color. And alright, we are nearly done, but I think it would be nice to add a little bit more details. So in this case I'm going to use plugin. Of course there's many different kind of softwares online, like Perfect Effects, Topaz Details, and in this case I'm going to use Topaz Details. You can download a free trial version from their website. If you'd like to buy, it's not really expensive. I highly recommend. Of course you can use curves to increase that, or different effects, but my favorite is Topaz Details, so I'm going to use plugin in this case. You don't have to, you can use everything else to increase the details. So press Alt, Control, Shift and E. I'm going to use this layer details, click right and convert to smart object. Why I'm doing this all the time? Because when we convert our layer to smart objects, then we have to possibility to change that. We have full control about our effect. We're going to add this layer. We're not changing the layer, we're just adding some effects under this layer. So click filter if you're going to use Topaz Details and select Topaz Details 3. I'm going to skip small details as always, that are too strong, and I'm going to add some medium details at first, 0.06 both, and about large details around 0.1, and increase the details maybe 0.17, maybe even 0.15 about large details. I hope it's not too much, maybe a little bit more, as I don't want to ruin this picture. Okay, let's go down a little bit. Can add some exposure to make it a little bit brighter if you fancy it. I'm going to add a little bit more contrast as well. And then going to add some temperature and take down some saturation. Okay, now I think it's time to check how our effect looks like. And finally click OK. And there you go, that's our final result. I think this effect looks really nice. If you would like to add some more colors, I hope it's not too desaturate. Of course you can add some maybe photo filter if you'd like to make it warmer, whatever you want, to make it colder, to make it more bluish. Everything is right in this case. I'm going to show you the picture I started with. That was the picture we started with this tutorial. As you see, it's really huge difference, and I'm a huge fan of final result of this tutorial. I hope you are a huge fan of this final result as well, as I'm going to see you in the next Photoshop tutorial. Thank you for watching and see you soon.